Hello, good afternoon. So I'll be discussing to you the level 2 significance of IT in education. This is module 2, information technology in education, under that topic. So we'll go directly to the topic. So the lesson 2, significance of IT in education. So the learning objective of this topic is that students should be able to explain what is the significance of IT in education, and also to demonstrate understanding on the different forms of learning resources and differentiate the types of learning preferences. I will not read aloud the discussion regarding this topic, since this topic will be more on focusing more on what we are doing right now. So this is more on how information technology help or very important in education, especially that we are under pandemic, and then we are not allowed to have a face-to-face learning or a face-to-face delivery of lessons. So all the topic that is being included in this lesson 2 will be more on what are the different aspects or what are the different types of mode of delivery, or the mode of delivery of lessons to our student. So we have why some of these are the benefits of the IT in aids of how are we going to send the resources, the learning resources or the learning materials to enhance our teaching skills, and then to enhance the learning ability of the student. So with the help of IT, now it is easy to provide audiovisual education. So you can just imagine, without IT, how can we do online discussion, or how can we connect to our student, or from the perspective of a teacher, of an instructor, and then from the perspective of the student, how can you receive the module via online, or how can you research without the use of information technology. So most likely this topic will focus on how information technology made possible with regards to learning, and uh, with regards to learning ability of you as a student. So you have immediacy to information. So IT has provided immediacy to education. Now in the year of computers and web networks, the pace of imparting knowledge is very fast, and one can educate at any time, at anywhere. So again, even if you're in your house, or you're at home, or you're outside outside of your house, you can learn as long as you have the connectivity to the internet, and you have the gadget or the devices in order for you to connect to the internet. Now, uh, you can do it anytime, anywhere, since you can actually uh, you can actually access to online materials which help you learn that certain topic without going to schools, or without going to classrooms, without meeting your teacher face to face. All you need to do is to have the connectivity, and then the devices for you to be able to connect to the internet. Now, we also have anytime learning. So when you say anytime learning, one can study whenever he will be, irrespective of whether it is a day or night, and irrespective of being in the US because of the boom in IT. So because of the help of information technology, it doesn't have to be, not necessary nga uh, you have to be late in information, or or you can learn anytime. You can learn anytime, and then in any topic as you like, since let's say for example, there are many of us here, there are many of you students who are actually enrolling and at the same time working. So you can actually work during the day, and then if you have the time, you can somehow check your phones or check your classrooms if there are online learnings that will be posted by your instructor, and you can study at during the night when you get home. So you can actually adjust, or you can actually access, or uh, the time is actually flexible when you have the information technology, while you are learning, and then at the same time you are actually, you can adjust it by your own pacing, like working and studying at the same time. Now we have collaborative learning. It has IT or information technology has made it easy to study as well as teach in groups or in clusters. With online, we can be united together to do the desired task. So collaborative learning. Maybe you will be asking why sometimes I usually answers questions in group chats rather than in private messages. Well, I can also answer some in private messages, but as much as possible, especially if the questions are pertaining to a certain topic, I usually answer it in a group chat because I want everybody to know, because maybe some of your classmates are actually have the questions in their mind but they don't have the confidence to ask me. So it will be better if you will ask in the group chat so that everybody will be knowledgeable, or everybody will be aware that that is the answer to the questions, because maybe they have that questions in their mind. It's just that they are not they don't, or they don't have the courage to ask in the group chat. So it is a collaborative learning, since we are helping each other to learn. Actually, the project that I gave you, it is supposed to be in groups, but somehow, since you are not meeting each other, especially the first year now, but because actually the second year and the third year students are actually in groups since they meet each other already. But in the first year, I opted not to have a group project, since it is, I think it is really, from my point of view, it is really important that you know each other for you to be able to come up with a successful project. It's not what you have right now in your project in CS 111, or maybe living in the IT era. It's not that collaborative learning, since I want you to know each other before you can collaborate. So the collaborative learning that we are actually having right now is that the messages, the questions that you will ask me will be put in the same group, and then if you have any questions and then I maybe I successfully answered it, some of your classmates will know also. And then if you have assignment or if you have project, you can also ask your classmates about it, so that all of you or most of you will actually comply the the project, because there are some of your classmates are not really online at most of the time, so you can also help your classmates in order for him to get informed, or in order for him or her to be aware what's the direction of our lessons already. Now, the following icons, or the following topics, are the different types of mode of delivery of the education, or the types of education with the use of information technology. So we have multimedia approach to learning. So when you say multimedia, the first thing that really comes up in your mind is you are using materials. You are using materials. It's a multiple media wherein you are using tools and devices for you to be able to display, or for you to be able to express the express the lessons, or express the learning that you want to impart. So audiovisual education, planning, preparation, the use of devices, materials that involve sight, sound, or both of educational purposes. So example of the multimedia approach are, let's say for example, I will be sending you link in YouTube like what I'm doing right now. That is actually example of multimedia, because multimedia is actually there are actually five or four senses, or component for you to be able to call it as a multimedia. So let's say actually we have one topic here in our we have one topic in CS 111 wherein it is actually focusing more on the multimedia. But anyway, I will give you what the multimedia is all about, just a glimpse of it. So when you say multimedia, you have the text. You call it multimedia when it is when all of the components are combined into one. So let's say for example, what I'm doing right now. Okay, I have the text. These are the texts, the one that I'm reading with. That's the text. And then we also have the voice. This is actually part of the component. So we when we combine that one, the text and then the voice, that is already a multimedia. But when we say a video has already a graphics wherein some of the presentations or the illustrations are moving. So that multimedia approach it includes already a graphics or a video. That's part of the multimedia approach. When it has a sound, a sight, a text, or any for educational purposes. So among the devices used are still and motion pictures. We have film strips, we have televisions, transparency, audio tapes, records, teaching machines, computers, and video discs. So these are the tools that will somehow help you to create a multimedia learning material tools. Okay, so the growth of audio visual education has reflected development in both technology and learning theories. So why is it important to have a multimedia approach to have an effective learning, or to have an effective transfer of learning? There are some of students, even me before, I easily understand the topic. I easily get what the instructor wanted to send the message. When there are pictures, when there are actually a voice, or we are when there are multimedia presentations uh, that could somehow inspire my eyes, or that could somehow uh, appreciate what was given to me, or when there is a challenge for me to see, because when there's pictures, when there's graphics, because they always say that a picture says 1,000 words, or even a million of words. So it's not really important if you only see the text, which is now you're only seeing the text, but this is just for educational purposes. But when you're presenting something, especially if it is for marketing or something like that, it is really important for you to come up with a multimedia approach, since the eyes are usually encouraged to understand if there are illustrations. Okay, so we have authentic and up-to-date information. Yes, because it is authentic and up-to-date information, because computers are actually worked real time, on time. So when I post the questionnaire, it actually posted. It has a date and the time it posted. So it is really up to date, and with the date informations in every post that you have to make. Let's say for example in Facebook, you posted it, diba, in the Facebook 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago. So everything is actually dated, or everything is actually posted at the at with the presentation of what time it is exactly posted. We also have online library with the use of information technology, since all of the all of the information, especially in the era right now, all of the informations are actually available on the internet. But maybe they also say that don't believe everything you read on the internet. However, uh, almost all the time, if you have questions, if there is something that boggling in our mind, we actually go to the internet to check it out if it is authentic or if it is correct or not. So nowadays, internet has really give us everything that we need, or everything, or every informations that we actually need. So the books are there, the informations are there, the referrals are there, Wikipedia is there, Scholarly, Google.com is there, Mr. Google is there too. So that's why we also consider online library, the help of online library. And we also have online learning. This is also one type of we have flexible learning management. Okay, so we have online learning is a term to describe a distance or correspondence courses that are offered over the internet. So what we are doing right now is somehow a blended online learning. So the course offered through online learning cover a wide range of subject, audiences, and prices. So there are five main reasons behind the growth in online learning. Why online learning existed. So these are the five reasons behind why especially nowadays that online learning is actually all of the schools, all of the students are actually engaged into online learning. Why is that? So the first one is the access. Of course, the access. Even if we don't see each other, as long as we have the point of reference or the point of or the medium, we can actually conduct classes. So let's say, for example, access. We have the Google Classroom, we have the GC, the Facebook, and so many other platforms wherein we can actually meet halfway. Now we have the efficiency because it is efficient. Maybe, maybe it will not become effective, but it is efficient since the platform is there, the tools is there. Maybe because of the outside uh what we call this, the outside factors are actually not the one that is making it efficient. But when you say Google Classroom, let's say for example Google Classroom, it is really efficient since as long as you send your submission, as long as I can receive it, I can score it. So everything is efficient. Whereas if we are going to have, if we just compared, we have the printed module, and then we also have the online or the Google Classroom in the submission of your activities or assessment. When you're done doing your activities, automatically you will send it to Google Classroom. I can receive it real time. Compared to the printed modules wherein the efficiency is actually decreased, since if you're going to finish it, there are a lot of uh, uh, point before it can actually be in my at hand, or it before I can finally receive it. So let's say for example you will go from places to places before I can receive it. And then stability because internet are stable, platforms are stable, learning module system are stable. When we say Google is stable, Facebook is stable, those are actually the platforms that helped us in conducting our classes. We have cost because you don't have to pay anything as long as you have the connection. You don't have to pay the Google because you have the internet. You can access different platforms. You can access Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google, as long as you have the load. It doesn't cost you to go to YouTube. It doesn't cost you to go to Facebook one by one. I mean, you don't have to pay. This load is for Facebook only. This load is for YouTube only. As long as you have the load, you can actually access any platforms that you like. You also have the technology. So technology, because you are using a technology. Without technology, all of these are not actually realizing. So we also have two types of online courses access. So we have open and restricted. When you say open access, just like what we are doing in Google Classroom, if you have every lessons are being saved there, every lessons are being uploaded there, anytime you want, anywhere you want, you can access it. However, the restricted access is that it is actually online. What we are doing is that typically the methods that are being used in restricted access are actually on time and real time. So let's say for example, I'll be discussing the topic to you. For those who are not in that moment, or for those who are not there right there and then, you're not allowed to get the access anymore. So it is actually, it limits the registered student, and this course offers instructor interaction. So if you want to get the lessons, you have to attend the meeting, you have to attend the platforms or the online uh, real time. Okay, so the technology continues to expand to meet the needs of the online students. Actually, uh, online study or online learning or whatever platforms we are doing right now, it's actually a never-ending process. We every tools like Facebook, Google, if you notice, there are a couple of times that we really are upgrading or updating our Facebook. Let's say recently, Facebook is actually upgrading their functionality. That's why the environment of Facebook is different from the previous ones, and so with the Google. So every from time to time, technology are actually evolving. So every minute, every seconds, technology are actually evolving, and so with the platforms that are being and connected, or those platforms or tools with the use of technology are actually evolving, and it is actually a never-ending process to meet the needs of the people who are using that platforms, or who are using the technology.